Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we are talking about what happens when we have Rahu placed in the 5th house in your birth chart. So before we begin, I'd just like to let you guys know that I am a Vedic astrologer. I have a Vedic astrology certification course where you can learn all about how I do my readings and stuff like that. And it's if you complete that course, you will get a you'll get your own website, so you can advertise yourself as a Vedic astrologer, and I'll promote you on the channel and all that good stuff, and you can take that business as far as you want and be as successful as you want. So that's a great opportunity there. So then I have my readings, where I have my standard reading, career reading, and relationship reading. Then I have my distance energy healing. So, and then career coaching, life coaching, magic courses, ritual courses, qigong courses, all kinds of stuff. So you can check that all out at geboshaman.com. All right. So then let's get into Rahu in the 5th house. All right, so in order to understand what Rahu means, we need to understand what Rahu in the fifth house means. We need to understand what Rahu means, and then we'll talk about what the 5th house means. We put them together and create our own analysis from that. Alright, so what is Rahu? What is Rahu is also known as the 5th house. What am I saying? The north node of the moon. There we go. I can't talk today. So Rahu is also known as the north node of the moon, and in Western astrology. However, I am not a Western astrologer, I am a Vedic astrologer. Alright, so Rahu. What is Rahu? Rahu is the planet of addiction. Rahu is the planet of obsession. Rahu is all about unfulfilled desires. It's deceiving, deception, and so Rahu is all about, basically I'll explain, Rahu is all about any kind of addiction. So food, sex, drugs, what else? All kinds of addictions. So he wants to feel satiated. He wants to feel fulfilled. He wants to feel good. And so Rahu in Vedic astrology is the head without the body. So he is the head of a demon. It's not really a demon in Christian lore or whatever. It's not a demon as Christians would think about a demon, but he's basically a head severed from the body, and he wants to indulge in earthly material things, and he wants to feel fulfilled by them. He wants to, he wants to eat, he wants to consume, he wants to enjoy the earthly pleasures of the world, However, he is never fulfilled by them. So this is unfulfilled desires. Why is he never fulfilled by them? He's never fulfilled by them because he does not have a body. So, we humans, we eat, and then we feel satiated, we feel full, and then we stop eating because we're full, right? So Rahu, being the detached head without a body, does not have a body to feel satiated. So it just keeps eating and eating and eating and eating, and that's his life. He can never get his desires fulfilled. He can never feel full or satiated or whole and complete within himself. He's always searching for something outside of him to fulfill him. So this is very important and poignant for the 5th house. So the 5th house is the house of creativity, of the 5th house is the house of children. The 5th house is the house of creative expression. It is the house of being in the limelight, being the center of attention, getting attention, and so people, so it's all about, if you can, easy way to figure out what the 5th house is about is think about the 5th sign, which is Leo. So when you think about the 5th house, think of Leo energy. It wants to be the center of attention. It wants to be, this looked up to. It wants to shine its light out onto everyone and be recognized, adored, praised, given recognition, given, adoration, attention, affection, love, and things like that. It wants to receive that. It puts out this energy so that it can receive it. Okay, so so what happens when we have Rahu here? Well, Rahu wants to be the center of attention. It wants to, there's a propensity, I'll just tell you right now, there's a strong propensity for sex addiction for this placement. Because why? The 5th house is in charge of creating children. What happens when... Anyway, this is not a sex ed class, but basically, 5th house is all about creating, procreation and stuff like that. And, a lot of people think, oh, Scorpio is the sign for that. Oh, Pisces, Pisces for bed pleasures, or Gemini, the prince that goes around and sleeps with everybody, but it's actually, those things are true, and they do have their own place. However, Rahu in the 5th house, you'll feel a lot of, I'll just say that there's a strong connection with sex addiction, sex and love addiction. So there's that. So go to SLAA, search that. Also, coda.org, another one. That's a good one. So, Um, so what happens when we have Rahu placed in this house? So it's 5th house, so we have that propensity for sex addiction. Also, there's a propensity for addiction to power. Power hungry, wanting power, being power hungry, being wanting to be the center of attention and get everybody's love, attention, affection, approval, things like that. And Rahu in the 5th house will put a smoke screen in front of you. It'll make you think that people are perceiving you a certain way, that they like you. You might perceive people that people like you, really like you. However, that might not always be the case. That might So you might be the annoying, flamboyant, boisterous friend who's like, or person at the office who's like always looking for attention, but then it's obvious and everybody's saying, geez, that guy is really annoying. So that's how you would come off to others. Or that's how you can come off to others. Again, these placements are, I'm just talking about the generality of these two things, Rahu and the 5th house. You could have different signs in the 5th house. You could have different planetary placements aspecting Rahu. And so, it can change for your individual chart. So, so what else? Let me see here. So, I'm going to talk about Ketu for a minute. So, if you have Rahu in the 5th house, your Ketu would be placed in the 11th house. So the 11th house is the house of gains, the house of friends, network circles, things like that. And so you're comfortable around friends and network circles. Ketu, or 11th house, is also humanitarianism. 11th house is the house of gains. So when you have Rahu in the 5th house, Ketu in the 11th says, let's just treat ourselves as equal to others. 11th house is all about equality. And so, realizing that you are important and valuable in and of yourself. However, other people are just as important and valuable within themselves. So everybody deserves to be treated equally and fairly, and you don't need to, you're basically getting your love from the inside, loving yourself instead of wanting to seek other people's approval, other people's stuff like that. Get it from the inside, and you can give it to others. So Ketu in the 11th house is about service to humanity. So instead of the selfishness of Rahu in the 5th house. It's about unselfishness, about giving to others and spiritually growing and evolving and things like that. So, realizing that spiritual maturity of thinking broadly, thinking about other people rather than just yourself. So, I guess that does it for Rahu in the 5th house today, guys. So, if you have any questions, comments, conundrums, concerns, any other words that sound like they start with C but don't, put them in the comments and I'll be glad to help you. So I have my astrology certification courses and that's great. It includes a PDF guide and astrology reading template, and so it couldn't be simpler or easier. Like it's just so easy to just get into that course, and then you see exactly step A through step Z of what you're supposed to be doing for an astrology reading. And it just lays it out very simply, very plainly, and so you can check those out. Alright. So then we have we also, if you take that certification exam for the astrology certification course, you'll get your own website and you can become a certified Vedic astrologer and take that business as far as your heart desires. You can become a professional Vedic astrologer and turn it into a side income or turn it into a full-blown business where that's your whole business. That's all you do. So anyway, guys, go check that out. Go read more about it at GeboTheShaman.com. Alright. Now we have the certification course. We have the Vedic astrology readings. So I have my standard birth chart reading where I analyze your birth chart and stuff like that, and you can ask me questions and things like that. And then I have readings and consultations where I focus on your career, on your relationships, and things like that. And then we have the birth time rectification service. So if you don't know your exact birth time down to the minute, I highly recommend that you check out my birth time rectification service, because that is designed to help you, figure out the exact minute of your birth, which really helps in predictive astrology. And if you want to just have a better understanding of your astrology chart, like it's great. So check that out. And then we have the distance and I'll just go through my Qigong courses here. So here you can see me doing some Qigong there and there. And so those are my Qigong courses, and they are great because they really connect you with the heart center. And when you do those practices and make them a part of your everyday routine, you will begin to take that heart center energy, and that energy will radiate through your entire body and will empower you and get you thinking and seeing things from a different perspective. It offers, it provides spiritual growth, spiritual maturity, and things like that. So it's really an awesome course, both of them. So, and then the Qigong course, this self-transformation challenge, you can see me doing some Kundalini yoga there. And that course synergistically combines the three energies of the heart center, the three energies of the body. and it's about the chi. So chi is one energy. Then we have the heart center, lightning energy of the heart center. And then we have the kundalini, which rises up the spine. And then we have, we combine that with meditation and get you to connect with your higher power. So that is a winning combination there. So I'm very proud of that course, and so if you are interested in it, go to patreon.com/Gebo the Shaman, or you can go to gebotheshaman.com. Alrighty, so that does it for me. You can see all the stuff that I have here, and if you're interested, you can go to gebotheshaman.com. Alright, that's it for me, guys. Take care, and love you all. Peace.